Okay, I hope my dad isn't watching this video because he might be upset with me if he knew I was going to talk about him. He's a great guy, retired, and just now getting into computers, writing his memoirs. He's using Word and he's doing his best to make things look good on the screen and of course in print too. But because his experience goes way back to the typewriter, he's doing things the old-fashioned way and it's causing him a great deal of grief the moment he needs to make a change. Now I'm talking about hitting the spacebar a bunch of times to indent text and make it line up with other text. He really should be setting up tabs and using them to make life easy. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The first thing we need to do is open up a different document. So we'll go to the Open button, and that's underneath the Office button right here. Navigate to the Lesson 5 folder, and that's where you're going to find this one here called Parts Inventory. Give it a click before you click the Open button. So this is just a document that's been started for us. I'm going to click down here, down on my page just once, to move my flashing cursor down to the spot where I want to start typing any additional text. Let's just say we wanted to track 3 separate pieces of information here, like a SKU number, a description, and a price under our parts inventory here. Well, we could hit the exact number of spaces on the spacebar like my dad might, or we can set up 3 tab stops on the ruler so we don't have to worry about it. By default, left-aligned tabs are set up every half an inch, so if we were going to press the tab key right now on the keyboard a couple of times, our cursor would move in by 1 inch. Even better, though, is to set up our own tab stops. So right up here on the ruler, you can see there's nothing showing up on the ruler except for the measurements. If I go all the way over to the left here, this is my tab setup button. You can see that the left tab is currently selected. If I click it, you can see now it's changed the icon, and as I hover over it, it says Center tab. Click it again, it changes to a right-aligned tab. Click it again, I see a dot in there. That's going to be a decimal tab. If I click it again, that looks totally different. It's a bar tab. Click it again, it's changed. So I've got a number of choices here. There's my first line indent, and I'm going to switch it all the way back to my left aligned tab. So with that selected, I can now go into my ruler, and wherever I click on my ruler, I'll be inserting a tab stop. So I'm going to do one right about half an inch in, right here on the half-inch mark. I'm going to click, and you'll see that that left aligned tab icon shows up at the half-inch mark on my ruler. Now for the center one, I think it should be a center tab, so I'm going to click over here to change it to a center tab stop. And I'm going to go to, well, let's go to about our 3-inch mark here. Maybe a little bit further. 3 is good. And we'll click on the ruler, and you can see there we have our center tab icon. So we've set our tab stop there. We're going to do one more, and because we're going to track the price of our parts inventory, maybe it should be a decimal tab. So we'll go past the right align tab, click again till we see the decimal tab. And let's go over here and we'll put that at the 5.5 inch mark. We'll just click right there, and you can see now we've got 3 tab stops on our ruler. That means every time we hit the tab key now, we're going to go from tab stop to tab stop. So let's try this out. We're going to hit our tab key on the keyboard, and you can see my flashing cursor now moves to that half-inch mark on the ruler. And here's where I want to start typing some text. So I'm just going to type in the titles actually for my columns. SKU number. When I hit my tab key, look at that, I've moved to the 3-inch mark now. Everything I type is going to be centered on this spot. So I'm going to type in the word description. Perfect. I'll hit the tab key. Takes me over to the 5.5 inch mark. And I'm just going to type in price here. And that's okay just like that. I'm not using a decimal, but when I start entering prices, you'll see how that looks different. So I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit enter again just to leave a blank line, and I'm going to start putting in some text so you can follow along with me. We'll just put in some numbers. And then when I hit tab to the description, everything I type is going to be centered here. I'm going to type 6 burner range. And I'm going to hit my tab key on the keyboard to enter the price. I'm going to put in a $sign here. I'm going to put in $6,299. Now when I hit the decimal, everything I type after the decimal goes right. So you can see how that works. Press enter, tab, let's do a couple of more. 38423-2. Any number will do. Hit the tab key on your keyboard. Counter depth fridge. And I'll hit my tab key, start with the $sign. That's going to be 3,400. put in the decimal 00. Excellent. Let's do one more. 11843-3. Again, any number will do. Just to get some text in here, one more, we'll do a dishwasher. And when we hit the tab key, we'll put in our $sign and we'll make it $9.98.40. There we go. So you can see how in this column everything's lined up on the decimal, everything's centered here, and everything's lined up on the left with my skew numbers. Okay, so our text is in here, and the tabs have really paid off, because if we were to add some text now, we could see what happens. Like, we're going to add 6-burner range. We're going to type in gas. See how everything stays centered? It doesn't get misaligned. So that's really the beauty of adding tab stops. Avoid the temptation to hit the spacebar over and over to add space, or even hitting the tab key a bunch of times, because even multiple taps of the tab key using the default half-inch settings can cause future problems. Setting tabs like we just did right here where you need them can save you huge headaches after the fact, trust me.